Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4.
I'm WAAY 31 Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes tracking another round of widespread showers and storms across North Alabama today. I'll let you know what's in store for us this evening and when we can expect a drier pattern to settle into the Tennessee Valley. Coming up.
We're hearing from homeowners in Owens Crossroads this afternoon after hail damage forced them to get repairs on their roofs.
New information on the search for a missing submersible as rescue crews have a little over a day before those on board run out of oxygen.
Thank you for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 4. I'm Marie Waxel.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. We have several major stories to get to, but first let's get a check on the forecast.
We do have weather team coverage for you on this first day of summer. WAAY 31's Georgia Clark is standing by with what you need to do if your home is damaged by hail, especially during the strong summertime storms.
At first, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes. We are tracking a few showers right now.
Yeah, thankfully not any thunderstorms today, but we do have quite a bit of rain, including right over Madison County. It's been a very wet past hour for Huntsville and surrounding communities. Heaviest of the rain currently on the south side of Madison County, approaching Lacey Spring right now in Morgan County as well. Widespread rain ongoing in DeKalb as well as Marshall counties. Southern Jackson County getting its fair share of rainfall as well. Again, we're hardly seeing any lightning with this. We don't have a lot of instability in the atmosphere, but plenty of moisture available, and that's leading to widespread rainfall this afternoon. Just a handful of lightning strikes recently in Wayne County, Tennessee. That cluster of showers and storms now pushing into Lauderdale County, and a little bit of that rain will be approaching Florence and the Quad Cities here within the next 10 to 20 minutes. Those of you in areas like Lawrence County and Franklin County have been fairly dry today, and you're catching a break from the rain right now, but all of this activity is pushing from the east to the west, an unusual direction as it wraps around the low pressure that has helped trigger all of these showers. We'll continue with the wet weather through dinner time, just like we did yesterday. A gradual clearing as we head into the evening, but not completely getting rid of the rain. In fact, we may see the rain showers redevelop to some extent late tonight and early in the day on Thursday. That is going to be most likely for you folks north of the Tennessee River, and that may include the city of Huntsville as you step outside tomorrow morning. More cooler than average temperatures for your Thursday, but after that, things change to the warmer side of things late this week. A look at your weekend forecast coming up in a couple minutes.
All right, talk to you then. Thanks, Taylor. Several homeowners need roof repairs after wind and hail damage in Owens Crossroads.
WAAY 31's Georgia Clark joins us live now after speaking with a resident of the Meadows neighborhood in Georgia. This neighborhood got pelted earlier this week.
Yes, Marie, they did. And I've spoken to dozens of homeowners today, all of which have told me the same thing. Their roof either needs to be fixed or replaced completely. Now, this damage may not look like much from the outside, but sizable hail can leave dents and divots in a roof, which later leads to leaks and water damage. Paul Doogie, a resident here and former WAAY general manager, says he's already had contractors out to assess the damage and is now waiting on an estimate. He says he's never heard weather quite like Sunday night storms.
I kind of jolted out of bed. It was so loud. I'd never heard hail hit like that. My grandson was staying here, and he jumped out of bed and ran downstairs, and we ran out back to look, and we saw the hail that was, I don't know, maybe half an inch, but it was unbelievably loud.
Now, Doogie is just one of multiple homeowners in this neighborhood who have had to have contractors come out and look at their roofs. But coming up at 6, I spoke with an insurance agent on just what you need to do if you have storm damage after storms like Sunday night. Reporting live in Owens Crossroad, Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Georgia. You can keep track of today's rain by using our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll have access to our 31 triple Doppler. It is free to download.
New details now in a WAAY 31 follow-up. Huntsville police have located a missing teenager. Investigators learned Charisma Turner traveled to Texas to see friends and was involved in a minor car accident. She was transported to the hospital and is okay. Her family has been notified.
New at 4, a Russellville man faces charges after police say he ran other drivers off the road while getting into a chase with officers. Just after 8 o'clock this morning, patrol officers were sent to stop a driver they say was intoxicated. Damon Dinsmore sped away, though, leading officers on a dangerous 115-mile-per-hour chase. Dinsmore is accused of running other drivers off the road at that time. Russellville police also say he almost ran over officers trying to use stop sticks. He faces charges for driving under the influence, trying to elude a law enforcement officer, reckless endangerment, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Lincoln County, Tennessee Sheriff's investigators are working to identify two thieves who cut catalytic converters off of church vans. Investigators hope someone recognizes something in these surveillance pictures that will lead to an arrest. The thieves cut those catalytic converters off vans at the West Fayetteville Church of Christ and the Maranatha Baptist Church.
Lincoln County deputies are also working to identify the person who fired a shot that wounded a fisherman. That person was fishing at a pond in the Cache Point area near Ardmore when they were hit by a bullet on Friday. Investigators believe someone was target shooting in the area at that time. They want to find the person in an effort to educate them about responsible gun use.
A dogfighting suspect out of Lauderdale County had his bond revoked following a drug arrest. LaMarcus Ricks faces charges for drug trafficking. Lauderdale County Drug Task Force agents say they found 3 pounds of meth as well as heroin and marijuana during a search of his home in April. He will go to trial for his dogfighting charges in August. New at 4, 2 people are in the Lauderdale County Jail for drug arrests. Deputies were responding to a trespassing call on Lauderdale County Road 14 when they found a Jeep, which matched the description of one found on private property. Deputies searched 2 people and the car and found 69 grams of meth. Jason Baskins faces charges for trafficking meth. Ramsey Swafford was also arrested. Deputies say they found a glass pipe and meth on him. He faces charges for possessing a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia.
New information now on the search for the missing submersible in the Atlantic Ocean. Coast Guard members heard underwater sounds both yesterday and today. Those 5 crew members on board are expected to only have around a day's worth of oxygen left. ABC's Rena Roy goes over the details on the desperate search.
More help arriving in the frantic search for a missing submersible carrying 5 people that was on a journey to view the wreckage of the Titanic. This Canadian ship with advanced deep sonar now on scene where crews are scouring more than 10,000 miles of the ocean.
The surface search is now approximately 2 times the size of Connecticut, and the subsurface search is up to 2.5 miles deep. We also have to factor in the ever-changing weather conditions, currents, and sea states that expand the search area every hour.
The U.S. Coast Guard says underwater noises were detected Tuesday morning in the search area and again on Wednesday. The noises described as banging sounds. A team of experts now analyzing the data.
With respect to the noises specifically, we don't know what they are. We're searching in the area where the noises were detected.
Officials estimating oxygen will likely run out by Thursday at 7 a.m. Rescuers fighting the clock but holding on to hope.
We will continue to work as hard and as quickly as possible in an effort to locate them.
The OceanGate Expeditions vessel, called Titan, disappeared 900 miles east of Cape Cod Sunday morning. On board, British explorer and billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, and his 19-year-old son Suleiman, world-renowned Titanic researcher and diver P.H. Narjuleh, and the CEO of OceanGate, Stockton Rush. Mike Reese has gone on 4 dives with the company, telling ABC that during every single one, the sub lost communications.
It is always in the back of your head that this is dangerous and any small problem will turn into a major catastrophe.
OceanGate has faced scrutiny over the sub's safety features. Back in 2018, the year the vessel was built, members of a committee specializing in submersibles expressed unanimous concern about the sub's safety in a letter obtained by the New York Times and authenticated by ABC News.
Members say OceanGate did make some changes after that letter. And when it comes to those noises, experts say it is important to remember that this search is focused around the wreckage of the Titanic, which could mean metal and debris from the ship could be causing those sounds. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
9 minutes after 4. Coming up at 4:30, we'll hear more from that man who was once a passenger on the submersible, which went missing this week in the North Atlantic.
Plus, new details on the repairs for Interstate 95 as Pennsylvania leaders announce the section's reopening after that devastating collapse.
And if you're looking for some dry weather to get those outdoor chores done, we have plenty of that coming our way as we wrap up the week. A look ahead to warmer and drier days coming up next.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
New at 4, a collapsed Philadelphia interstate overpass will reopen to traffic this weekend. 3 temporary lanes have been put in place. A section of I-95 collapsed June 11th after a fiery tanker truck crash. ABC's Justin Finch shows us how progress was made on repairs ahead of schedule.
More than a week ago, this section of Interstate 95 in Philadelphia burning and breaking down after a gas tanker lost control, crashing and exploding, killing the driver. Repairs were predicted to last months, but now Pennsylvania's governor announcing
the traffic will be flowing here on I-95 this weekend.
This time-lapse video captures the damage and gaping hole after the I-95 overpass collapsed on June 11th. Now that gap is nearly filled. It cost $25 to $30 million. The governor praising local workers for pushing the repair timeline well ahead of schedule.
This is what it looks like when the ingenuity of Delco meets the grit of Philly, and we work together to get it done.
This weekend, state police will escort paving trucks to the site where those temporary lanes are set to open by the weekend, largely because of these recycled glass nuggets. By using tons of them to fill in the area, crews are avoiding potential supply chain delays tied to other materials.
Glass aggregate is not new. It's been used in Pennsylvania for 7 or 8 years. It's safe, it's sound, it's ready to go to work.
There is urgency to fix the roadway, not only because of the inconvenience to the estimated 160,000 daily commuters, but also given the risk to supply chains, with truckers forced to take long detours. The governor says the temporary lanes could open Saturday or Sunday, depending on the weather. Meantime, crews will continue working to install a permanent new overpass. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
We have a couple of traffic alerts you need to be aware of if you're expecting someone home or you're getting ready to hit the road this afternoon. The big problems here on Memorial Parkway. This is the Memorial Parkway right here, north and southbound. There's an accident earlier today around Bob Wallace. That looks like it's been cleared away, but you can see the damage is done there. The traffic northbound slow and go, beginning south of Drake Avenue and continuing all the way up to the interchange there near Governor's Drive. And speaking of that interchange, another accident just occurred here. This appears to be blocking all of the southbound lanes here on Memorial Parkway at Clinton Avenue. This area, of course, is a mess on the best of days, so expect some major problems as you're making your way through there on either side of Governor's Drive on Memorial Parkway. Marie?
All right, AAA reports you may be paying less for your gas. In fact, the company says you may be saving around $1.39 a gallon compared to what we were paying this time last year. But prices remain high in many parts of the country. Prices in Washington state are just shy of $5 a gallon, sitting at $4.93. Meanwhile, our neighbors to the west in Mississippi have prices near the $3 mark. Let's take a look at gas prices here in Alabama. According to Gas Buddy, the average for a gallon of gas in Huntsville is $3.14. It's the same as the state average. Meanwhile, make sure you're filling up at home, though, before you leave for vacation. If you have any plans, the national average currently sits at $3.55 a gallon.
New at 4, Connecticut's Attorney General has launched an investigation into Hyundai and Kia following a string of car thefts. The Attorney General says cars made between 2011 and 2022 do not have anti-theft devices or technology. He says tutorials on how to break into those cars have gone viral and that Hyundai and Kia haven't implemented enough features to stop the thefts. Amazon's legal team will need to prepare for a federal lawsuit. The Federal Trade Commission sued the e-commerce giant, claiming it tricked customers. The federal suit accuses Amazon of deceiving millions of customers into signing up for Amazon Prime. Amazon is also accused of using a deceptive interface to keep users from canceling memberships. The online retailer so far has not commented. On Wall Street, stocks closed down again Wednesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 102 points to close at 33,952. Tech stocks took the biggest hit, with the Nasdaq Composite Index down 165 points, and the S&P 500 lost 23.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 Triple Doppler.
Time now 4:17. Hard to believe summer's officially here, and we're dodging rain today.
I was going to say, bask in all that sunshine. Not happening.
Yeah, not fitting the bill for summer weather today, that's for sure. We're getting the pop-up showers, but definitely avoided the heat today, and that's something that will stick around tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So I guess enjoy it.
I guess, yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for highs not in the 90s.
Yeah, it's not exactly a general theme we see too often this time of the year. Our high today so far has been 81 in Huntsville. Average high for today is 90 degrees, so not ringing in the official start of summer like we typically do around here. Some of you are in not only the 70s, but check out Guntersville, currently at 68 degrees. That's closer to typical lows for this time of the year rather than what we typically see during the middle of the afternoon. Meanwhile, it is a little warmer out west where we have at least low 80s around Decatur and Muscle Shoals. At this hour, those locations have been a little bit drier the past few hours at least. Currently on 31 triple Doppler, as you can see, we have widespread showers and occasional storms, occasional lightning strikes in northern part of Marshall County and also in northern parts of Lauderdale County. Widespread rain, though, is just going to be our main theme as we head into the late afternoon hours across North Alabama. Not really expecting anything severe. Gusts could occasionally get up to 45 miles per hour with the strongest of the storms that happen to develop late today through tonight, and perhaps hail up to pea size, but generally speaking, there is no severe threat for North Alabama the rest of the day today or as we head into tomorrow as well. Future radar shows these showers will continue to drift from the east to the west, wrapping around an area of low pressure located to our south and to our east. As we head into this evening, the showers become a bit more isolated in nature as we lose that daytime heating, but we still could have occasional showers overnight tonight. The latest from Future Radar has this rain sticking around near the Tennessee-Alabama state line. So that's an area to watch for potentially some pockets of heavy rain late tonight and early on Thursday. Could be another wet morning drive for some of you, including possibly in Athens as well as Huntsville in the far northern part of Alabama early in the day on Thursday. As we head to tomorrow afternoon, it actually does not look like it's going to be a washout. We'll have a handful of showers and maybe a few storms out there, but does not look like it's going to be as widespread as what we're seeing right now or what we saw yesterday. So as we head into Thursday evening, most of this activity will wind down. Heading into Friday, you can anticipate more sunshine than we've seen recently, and the rain showers will be few and far between, likely favoring northeast Alabama more so than those of you farther to the west, and that likely gets out of here by the time we get to Friday evening. So as far as additional rain is concerned, upwards of an inch or so possible near the Tennessee-Alabama state line, but most of us are just looking at maybe an additional quarter to half inch of rain over the next couple of days. We will stay cooler than average tomorrow with forecast highs in the mid 70s around Sand Mountain, 81 in Huntsville, and 80 tomorrow in Moulton. We get back closer to normal on Friday with highs in the mid 80s for most of us, and we keep on climbing as we approach the weekend. 91 on Saturday, likely dry, plenty of sunshine. 92 on Sunday, and a good chance again we stay dry during the daylight hours of Sunday. It's going to be Sunday night into Monday that we'll watch out for our next good chance at thunderstorms, some of which could potentially be strong. Once that passes on through, we'll settle back into more sunshine and hot conditions. Looks like a good stretch of at least low 90s coming our way much of next week.
We'll still take it. It's not mid to upper 90s yet.
Yeah,
so.
around this time last year, that's where we were in the throes of was a heat wave. So, you know, I prefer what we have right now to that.
Absolutely. Same here. Right.
Still ahead, why the American Red Cross says it is struggling to get enough people to donate blood this summer. new study shows the dangers faced by doctors at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. ABC's M. Nguyen goes over the details and how the virus impacted the death rates of doctors.
A recent study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association highlights more than 600 doctors died than expected in the first few years of the pandemic. Physicians had lower excess mortality rates than the general population, while active physicians had lower excess death rates than non-working doctors, those retired or no longer practicing. Researchers say the results may indicate protective equipment and workplace measures were effective in the hospital setting, but many clinicians were left with limited tools to protect themselves at the beginning of the pandemic and had to reuse old masks and other equipment. Some say they went as far as leaving their hospital scrubs in the trunk of their car, showering right when they got home, or even living away from their family for a period of time. There were no excess deaths among physicians after April 2021, the same time vaccines became widely available. Researchers say they hope this study highlights the continuing need to protect healthcare providers in potential future epidemics. With this Medical Minute, I'm M. Nguyen, ABC News.
New at 4, the American Red Cross blood supply is dwindling. The organization had 26,000 fewer donations last month. Red Cross members usually see donations drop during the summer months. Travel and fewer blood drives at schools are factors for the decline. The organization says the shortage could impact those who need elective surgeries or suffer from sickle cell disease.
There is no widely available cure, and they often rely on regular blood transfusions to manage their pain and prevent life-threatening complications.
Now, the Red Cross is most in need of O-negative blood. Other blood types are also needed. Remember, you can schedule an appointment to donate blood anytime, and you can even find a nearby blood drive while you're traveling. Well, here in North Alabama, Life South will hand out $20 e-gift cards to blood donors. They're offering second gift cards for plasma and double red cell donors. All you have to do is donate between now and June 30th to be eligible. Next at 4:30, new details on the identities of 2 suspects arrested in connection to a shooting in Decatur.
Plus, hear from a former passenger of the submersible, which has gone missing in the North Atlantic.
And we're continuing to track a soggy afternoon across North Alabama. I'll let you know when we can expect these to die down across the region. Coming up next.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30.
It is a soggy start to summer here in North Alabama. I'm WAAY 31 Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes tracking widespread rain across the region. I'll let you know when we can expect drier weather to move back into the area coming up.
New at 4:30, we're hearing from a former passenger of the submersible which disappeared in the Atlantic.
New details out of Decatur this afternoon after police identified the suspects connected to a robbery and shooting. Thanks for sticking with us for WAAY 31 News at 4:30. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. We're continuing to track showers moving across our area this afternoon. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes.
And it does look like it's going to be pretty wet out there the next several hours. We are looking at widespread rain across North Alabama on the WAAY 31 Skycam network. Take a look at this view over in Muscle Shoals, where you've been dry the past few hours, but there is a band of rain moving your direction, and there is some lightning associated with that as well. Let's get the latest look at 31 triple Doppler. The widespread rain currently located across northeast Alabama. Those of you east of I-65 have been soggy most of this afternoon, but we do have some storms approaching the Quad cities around Lauderdale and Colbert counties as well, and some of that rain pushing into parts of Lawrence and Morgan County after you got a bit of a break and a little sunshine earlier this afternoon. Walking through future radars, we head into this evening. We'll see the active weather stick around for the next few hours. Once we get after 7 o'clock, though, just like yesterday, we should begin to see things become more isolated. That doesn't mean you still couldn't get some rain late in this evening, because that is a possibility for a handful of us. In fact, late tonight, we will continue to have at least some passing showers stick around the area. That is most likely in Tennessee, but some of that could drift back into North Alabama around drive time on Thursday morning. So just be prepared for some wet weather when you step outside tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, it does not look like the rain will be as widespread as what we've seen today. And by the end of the week, we are back to the summer heat. So look ahead to your weekend, that forecast, which will feature quite a bit of sunshine and a lot of heat coming up here in a couple minutes.
And lots of Madison County homeowners need repairs now after recent hail and windstorms. We talked with dozens of homeowners about Sunday's storms here in North Alabama, Madison County. Many feel they have to have their roof repaired or even replaced in some cases. One homeowner and former WAAY 31 GM Paul Doogie described the intensity of Sunday's storm.
I kind of jolted out of bed. It was so loud. I'd never heard hail hit like that. My grandson was staying here, and he jumped out of bed and ran downstairs, and we ran out back to look, and we saw the hail that was, I don't know, maybe half an inch, but it was unbelievably loud.
Doogie said a contractor already checked his roof, and he's currently waiting on an estimate for those repairs.
New at 4:30, we now know the identities of two people accused of shooting a man in Decatur. Ralph Coleman and Corey Brooks are charged with robbery and assault. They're in the Morgan County Jail without bond. Police say the robbery happened at around 12:50 yesterday on Cardinal Drive. The event was connected to a shooting which happened off Austinville Road. The victim was taken to Huntsville Hospital. He remains there in stable condition.
New at 4:30, some fireworks are now allowed for use in Huntsville. Today, the fire department held a demonstration to show us just how to safely use those fireworks for your 4th of July celebrations. Non-explosive and non-aerial sparkling devices can be used under new city rules. Approved fireworks include handheld or ground-based products such as cone fountains, illuminating torches, wheels, or ground spinners, similar to what you're seeing right now. Huntsville's fire marshal said to always be careful around all fireworks.
We want to encourage people to be safe during the holidays, but if you do participate in consumer fireworks, we want you to use the products that are allowed in the city of Huntsville.
Fire marshal said the best safety advice is just to leave the fireworks to the professionals and enjoy their Independence Day displays. All right, less cleanup too, huh?
Yeah, a lot better. We have a traffic alert for drivers in Decatur tomorrow. Decatur Utilities will be performing some sewer repairs near the intersection of Cherry Street and Lee Street. The closure will take place from noon until 4. Work has now begun on the $34 million overpass and service road project on North Memorial Parkway. AlDOT crews pulled out the orange cones and barriers today. The project will span from Maston Lake Road to South Winchester Road. Crews say access to businesses should remain open. The project is expected to take 3 years to complete.
A new initiative aims to get more nationally board certified teachers in your child's classroom in Madison County. At a breakfast this morning, they honored the 400 board certified teachers serving Huntsville, Madison City, and Madison County schools. Organizers want to more than double that number to help boost education for our area students.
A board certified teacher takes it a step further in truly digging in and knowing their students and creating real life or authentic learning experiences for their students and truly reflecting on what did I do, how did that affect my students, and being able to really have just that reflection piece to me has been the most impactful thing as a teacher.
So National Board Certification is the highest level of certification available in the K through 12 education system. The effort to get more nationally board certified teachers is being called the Raise Your Hand Initiative, and it's a project by the Creative Cities Fund and the Schools Foundation to fund teachers seeking national board certifications.
New details on the search for the missing submersible, which was on its way to view the wreckage of the Titanic. A former passenger of that sub called Titan is speaking on his experience riding in that sub and what it's like inside. Tom Foreman brings us those details.
OceanGate Expeditions offers you the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a specially trained crew member safely diving to the Titanic wreckage site.
That $250,000 trip may look like a luxury adventure on the surface, but beneath the waves, ask Aaron Newman, who took the Titan to the Titanic in 2021.
I wouldn't call it plush, but it's very comfortable.
Fully loaded with 5 people, the quarters are tight, he says, hot near the surface of the water and nearly freezing in the depths. Propellers to move the vehicle and their controls seem rudimentary, although he and the company insist they are adequate.
Not super complicated. So they have 2 sets of fans that, up and down and left and right.
But communications, that's another story. The craft checks in with the ship above through a text messaging system every 15 minutes, relying on that system for safety and guidance. Former Navy submarine officer Van Gurley.
So all those things we're used to now with GPS and Wi-Fi and radio links do not work under the ocean. And then, the pressure is just immense.
OceanGate says Titan's carbon fiber and titanium hull has proven itself against that pressure repeatedly. A monitoring system is set to warn the pilot of any problems, and even if everything else fails, Newman, who is now an investor in OceanGate, notes the vessel should drop its external weights and rise automatically.
It is designed to come back up.
So the fact that there seems to be no clue as to Titan's whereabouts is deeply troubling to those who know the deep ocean best.
The fact that this vehicle has not come back to the surface does not bode well. Either it's an entanglement issue or there's a broader set of series of failures that have it now on the bottom.
Now, Newman says he knows 2 of the missing passengers. He says the 2 are committed to exploring the ocean floor and that he is holding out hope he will see them again.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's now speaking out against Senator Tommy Tuberville's hold on Department of Defense nominations. Tuberville has put nominations on hold following the department's decision to allow service members to have access to abortions. McConnell believes there is another way to address the policy.
I had said earlier, and I would repeat today, that I think holding these military personnel who have nothing to do with policy in order to try to dictate a policy change that I personally support is not the best way to go about it.
Senator Tuberville previously said both he and Pentagon leaders he's spoken to are not concerned over the hold.
And today is the first official day of summer, but is it really more than just a day on a calendar? I'll tell you all about the scientific reason behind it all coming up when Anello Answers It returns right after the break.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
Today is the first day of summer, and that means it's the summer solstice, which is the day with the longest daylight hours of the year.
Yeah, WAAY 31 storm tracker meteorologist Grace Anello joins us now to tell us a little more about the solstice.
Absolutely. So it's a little bit more than just a day on the calendar, but it did officially start today. The first day of summer started 9:57 this morning. However, with 84 degrees as our high temperature in Huntsville and on and off rain throughout the day, we're not really feeling too much like summer. So exactly how is it the first day of summer? Well, there's 4 big astronomical things that happen in the year, and they coincide with our 4 seasons. We have 2 solstice seasons, summer and winter. And then we have 2 equinox, vernal and autumnal, or the start of spring and the start of fall. Of course, today, June 21st, is the summer solstice. What that means is that the sun is pointing directly at the Tropic of Cancer. So in the northern hemisphere, we see significantly more daylight hours, and in the southern hemisphere, they see significantly more nighttime hours. What that also means is that the Arctic Circle has 24 hours of full-on daylight. And if you're at the Antarctic Circle or the South Pole, it looks like nighttime all the time without any sun in your day. Now, it'll take a minute for our temperatures to finally get there, but by the time we get to this weekend, we'll have temperatures back sitting in the low 90s, which is average for this time of year and seasonal for our summertime. Well, that's all for Anello Answers It this week. If you have a weather question, be sure to email it to me at gianello@waytv.com because I would love to hear from you.
All right, thanks a lot, Grace. New information today on dangerous heat that millions of Americans face right now. The hot weather putting major demand on the power grid, especially in Texas.
ABC's Melissa Adon gives us a closer look at the impacts from the extreme heat across the U.S.
Triple-digit temperatures are scorching Texas, with several cities clocking in at more than 110 degrees. Residents in the Lone Star State expected to bake a while longer as the heat index reached over 120 degrees. In Houston, officials say more than 100 heat-related emergency calls have been received since the weekend. Doctors say signs of heat-related illness include heavy sweating, muscle cramps, dizziness, and nausea. Families trying to cool down are creating huge demand on Texas electric grid. ERCOT, the electric utility company, is asking residents to voluntarily reduce energy consumption.
We don't want to end up without electricity for too long.
This type of heat is not new to Texas or Oklahoma, but it is showing up earlier. Scientific data finding that the extreme heat scorching Texas was made 5 times more likely due to the human effects of climate change. Dangerous weather is hitting other parts of the South. In North Carolina, water rescues underway after storms caused flooding in the region.
This is what was left behind after the water rose up and washed out what was right underneath the roadway.
Hail and heavy rain also hitting parts of Louisiana, and flood alerts are forecast from Virginia to Florida. The CDC reminds those coping with the heat to drink plenty of water, limit your time outdoors, and also wear loose-fitting clothing. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, WAAY 31 storm tracker chief meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 triple Doppler.
Quite the opposite in our neck of the woods.
Absolutely. We've been spared from the extreme heat so far this year.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to try to sneak our way by this weekend and into next week, but nothing like what they're dealing with in Texas. It's really, really rough and feel terrible for those folks. But here in North Alabama, it's all about the rain. We just watched the Trash Panda crew take the tarp off and then put it right back on. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if they get the game in later on this evening. Let's get to 31 triple Doppler, show you what's going on across the region at this hour. And there's a lot of rain to go around, more of it to the east than those of you farther west, but we do have those occasional showers around the shoals going on at this moment. So we'll go ahead and zoom in on a few spots here, and I do want to start around Morgan, Marshall, and Madison counties. That's where the heaviest and most consistent rain has been recently, stretching from near Hartselle across much of Morgan County, Lacey Spring, Owens Crossroads, dealing with some pretty steady rain. We're not really seeing much lightning with any of these showers, but we do certainly have consistent rain that could pile up here before too long. Farther to the west, we have a little bit steadier rain around southern parts of Marshall and into DeKalb County, back toward Jackson County. Occasional downpours, especially north of Scottsboro at the moment. And then we are also dealing with some showers and a few storms a little bit farther to the west near the shoals. So a little bit of lightning popping up here in the past 10 to 15 minutes. This does not look like it will last particularly long for you folks, but heavy rain currently falling right over the Quad Cities and some lightning strikes occurring around Lauderdale County at this hour. With all the rain out there, it is certainly cooler than we expect for the first day of summer. It is 73 in Muscle Shoals, 75 in the Rocket City, 60s in Gunnersville, as well as in Fort Payne. Trash pandas again. We'll cross our fingers the rain clears out, but we do have decent chances for more showers. Occasional lightning will remain possible. Temperature-wise, we are likely staying put around the low to mid 70s if the game does manage to take place later on this evening. 66 the forecast, low tonight with additional showers possible overnight. We will stay cooler than average on Thursday with a high of 81 degrees in Huntsville. Many of you may stay in the 70s again on Thursday afternoon. Now, walking through future radar, we will continue to have the scattered showers around the Tennessee Valley through this evening, becoming a little bit isolated late this evening and into the overnight hours, but we should see some redevelopment around the Tennessee-Alabama state line late tonight, and that could lead to a wet start to the day on Thursday for those of you north of the Tennessee River. If you're farther south, you're likely dry to kick off the day tomorrow. Heading into tomorrow afternoon, I don't think we're going to see as widespread of rain as we've seen the past couple of afternoons, but still the occasional downpour will be possible. I think we have a better chance of getting the Trash Panda game in on Thursday. Of course, the doubleheader scheduled at this moment, so we'll cross our fingers that things dry out at a Toyota Field at that time. Certainly by Friday, most of us are drying out with additional sunshine heading our way. The reason for that is the upper level low that has caused us all of this wet weather recently. That's going to push to the northeast late this week. Jet stream starts to rise north this weekend, giving us a break from the rain and lets some heat return at that time. We're going to get another ripple in the jet stream to arrive Sunday night into Monday. That will give us a chance at some stronger storms around that time. Once that wave clears through, the ridge of high pressure that's been causing all of that heat in Texas is going to nudge our way by the middle of next week, and that could potentially bring us some of the hottest temperatures we've seen so far this year. Of course, our highest temperature we've seen so far has been around 93 or 94, and we'll get close to that around the middle of next week. Along with that, some sunshine expected. So yeah, dreary out there right now, but we will flip to summer mode by this time next week.
Embrace these lower temperatures.
I like it. Yeah. All right, thanks. Still ahead, what you need to know about United Launch Alliance's next launch attempt for its Delta IV Heavy mission. New details, ULA will try again tonight late to launch a Delta IV Heavy rocket made right here in Decatur. Liftoff scheduled for early this morning was scrubbed due to a valve leak discovered during fueling. The new launch time is overnight tonight at 2:25 a.m. Central Time from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. It'll carry a spy satellite into orbit for the National Reconnaissance Office. This is the second to last Delta Heavy launch. ULA is replacing it with the new Vulcan Centaur rocket, also built in Decatur. 2 Russian cosmonauts are preparing for a spacewalk Thursday outside the International Space Station. At 9:20 Central Time tomorrow, Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Petelin will begin a 7-hour spacewalk to replace some hardware on the Russian modules. This is video from a previous EVA by the pair. This will be the cosmonauts' 5th spacewalk together and the 9th spacewalk so far this year.
You can help some of our four-legged friends in Marshall County. There's a little over a week left in Wolfstock 2023. Wolfstock is a drive to collect dry food for animals. It goes to the Second Chance Animal Shelter in Boaz. Donations can be made at the WQSB studios in Albertville through June 30th. Canines keeping cool. Check this out. This is a store in Durango, Mexico. The area is dealing with sweltering heat, so the store welcomed in pups as they tried to escape those high temperatures in the region. Looking like they enjoyed it too.
Sure did. New information, your naps may actually be helping your brain health. A study out of the journal Sleep Health shows naps are connected to a larger total brain volume, and larger brain volume comes with lower risks for diseases like dementia. But prior research has also shown napping too much could also be a sign of dementia. New at 4:30, the meat you eat while you go out for dinner may soon not come from an animal.
Oh, the USDA approved lab-grown meat from 2 companies to be sold here in the U.S. Proponents hope the new food will help cut back on greenhouse emissions. A restaurant in Washington, D.C. previously partnered with one of the companies for the rollout.
Continuing to track widespread showers and occasional thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. I'll let you know what's in store for this evening and the late week forecast, which will include a bit of a heat up, coming up next.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5.
I'm WAAY 31 Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust. An unusually cool start to the summer season thanks to widespread showers. I'll have the latest look at 31 triple Doppler coming up.
After last weekend's storms, some homeowners are still recovering how they're going about repairs caused by destructive hail.
Plus, it's a race against time to find 5 passengers on a tour nearly 13,000 feet deep in the Atlantic Ocean. The latest on search efforts as time is running out.
A traffic alert right now for Huntsville drivers. We do have some issues out there, not to mention the rain. We are watching some accidents as well. We've had a couple of accidents on parts of Memorial Parkway, specifically around Bob Wallace, and then again up near Clinton Avenue. And you can see traffic as well, slow on I-565 in the eastbound direction heading into the downtown area. Thanks for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 5. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. We want to start with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust in our Storm Tracker Weather Center.
He is tracking the rain moving across that region. And Taylor, more rain is expected this week.
Yeah, next couple of days we're going to keep with this active weather. We have what's called a cutoff low that's been popping up showers and storms not only in North Alabama but much of the region the past several days. That continues to be what we see at this hour on 31 triple Doppler. Heaviest and most widespread rain can currently be found in southern Madison County, much of Morgan County, and much of Marshall County, and it has been consistent for several hours. This is gradually drifting from the west to the east to the west, which is unusual, and really not moving all that fast with this particular downpour. So we might end up with some pretty decent rain totals in southern Madison County before it is said and done. Elsewhere, we have scattered showers. Occasional thunderstorms have been seen in Lauderdale County, but that lightning has dissipated recently. So not much stormy weather, just a lot of rain. That will continue to stick around through 6 p.m. and even 7 p.m. Once we get into the later evening hours, it should become more isolated, but even then, we are looking at least some isolated showers out there through this evening and overnight tonight. Late tonight, we're looking at redeveloping showers that could impact your morning drive, especially north of the Tennessee River. I'll show you what the entirety of Thursday looks like and when we can expect a break from the rain coming up in a couple minutes.
All right, thanks, Taylor. The Owens Crossroads community got hit hard on Sunday with severe storms. One neighborhood now facing dozens of roof repairs caused by hail.
WAAY 31's Georgia Clark joins us live just outside the Meadows community this evening, where she's been out speaking with homeowners all day long. Georgia, what have they been telling you about the damage?
Well, everyone I spoke with is either having to have their roof fixed or replaced completely. And some people were unlucky enough to have their cars out Sunday night and now have a few dents in their vehicle. But I spoke with Paul Doogie, a resident here at the Meadows and WAAY 31 former general manager. And he says his neighborhood has been active with complaints of damage and roofers over the past couple of days. Contractors came and surveyed his roof and found hail damage on 3 of the 4 sides of his home. Now he's possibly in need of a new roof.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. We'll see what the insurance folks say, but yeah, you know, it's tough because if you just look at it, you can't really tell. But when you get up on the roof, you can see there's little holes and divots all over the place.
Now, those little holes and divots can later lead to water damage and leaks in a roof. Doogie says the storms Sunday night were like nothing he's ever heard and is surprised the damage isn't worse. Now, coming up at 6, I spoke with an insurance agent on just what homeowners need to know about filing these storm damage claims. Reporting live in Owens Crossroads, Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
Huntsville police have located a missing teenager.
Investigators learned Charisma Turner traveled to Texas to see friends and was involved in a minor car accident. She was taken to the hospital but is okay. Her family has been notified. These 2 men are facing robbery charges. Decatur police arrested Corey Brooks and Ralph Coleman on Tuesday. Police say they received a report of a robbery and a man suffering a gunshot wound near Austinville Road. After a brief pursuit, the suspects were caught and booked into the Morgan County Jail without bond. The shooting victim is now in the hospital in stable condition.
A Lauderdale County man charged with dog fighting is now back in jail on drug trafficking charges. A judge revoked LaMarcus Rick's bond after investigators found 3 pounds of meth plus heroin and marijuana in his home. Ricks is set to stand trial for dog fighting in August. No word on when he'll face a judge on those drug charges. 2 men are in jail after another drug bust out of Lauderdale County. Lauderdale County deputies arrested these 2, Jason Baskins and Ramsey Swafford after receiving a trespassing call. The two left the scene before deputies arrived, but were found parked a short distance away. They also found 69 grams of meth, 2 handguns, brass knuckles, and other drug paraphernalia. More charges are expected.
Right now, it's a race against time, 400 nautical miles from the northeast coast under the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. Search crews are combing the sea for a submersible that went missing while taking passengers on a tour nearly 13,000 feet below the surface to the wreckage of the Titanic on Sunday. Chris Wynn has the latest on that search.
The minutes melt away on search crews' potential to find people alive as oxygen runs short on board the missing Titan submersible.
The surface search is now approximately 2 times the size of Connecticut, and the subsurface search is up to 2.5 miles deep, exponentially expanding the size of the search area.
The longer it takes, the less likely that a positive outcome will occur.
But all hope is not lost. Cutting through the darkness of the deep sea, consistent banging noises have been detected during the search.
We don't know the source of that noise, but we've shared that information with Navy experts to classify it. In the meantime, it's a target, it's a focus for us to look at. And so we've deployed the remote operated vehicles and the surface vessel, the Canadian Coast Guard surface vessel that has sonar capability in the vicinity.
You can't ignore the banging, and you don't have time to wait to analyze the sounds exactly. So you have to assume, I think, that they're human-made.
Until the sub is found, there's more questions than answers as to what happened. Right now, all experts can do is speculate.
Was there a problem with the porthole? Was it a problem with the pressure? Was it a problem with the valve? But if a submersible doesn't go back to the surface on itself, on its own, it's really that there is a deep problem.
Chris Wynn, WAAY 31 News.
This isn't the first time safety concerns have been raised. 2 former OceanGate employees brought up concerns when they were employed by the company years ago.
A new plan will add 500 new National Board certified teachers to Huntsville City, Madison City, and Madison County school systems. The Creative Cities Fund and the Schools Foundation created the Raise Your Hand initiative to bring more board certified teachers to the area. The National Board certification is the highest level of certification available in the K-12 education system. This morning, a breakfast was held to honor teachers and share the impact of the Raise Your Hand initiative.
When you want high quality education and you want the best for your child, then able to have teachers who go through these processes, who pursue this reflective piece and are willing to put in the time and the effort and the tears into it makes a huge difference, because we're able to really support students and help them grow and achieve and open up doors that maybe they weren't exposed to before.
400 teachers are currently certified or working towards certification within the 3 districts in Madison County. The Raise Your Hand initiative's goal is to eventually have 900 board certified teachers.
Meanwhile, average test scores for 13-year-olds are still on the decline. That's according to a new report from the National Assessment of Educational Progress. And researchers say the coronavirus pandemic is a big reason why. Researchers assessed students from October to December of 2022 and 23 school year and then compared it to the 2019-2020 school year. They found last year's test scores were down 4 points in reading and 9 points in math. If you're looking for ways to keep your kids learning over the summer, Northwest Shoals Community College is offering a STEAM summer camp. It's where children entering 1st through 7th grades can learn more about science, technology, engineering, art, and math concepts. The camp begins on July 17th, but you can register your kids right now. The deadline is July 10th.
Time now 5:08. A concerning decline in blood donations since last month could put stress on U.S. blood supplies throughout the American Red Cross. The organization worries the number of blood donations will only continue to drop.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the impact of low blood donations and how you can help.
As summer heats up, blood donations are going down.
Last month, we collected over 26,000 fewer blood donations than needed to meet the needs of patients.
Tiffany Taylor with the American Red Cross says it's common to see blood donation declines this time of year as more people are traveling and fewer blood drives in places like schools. But she says the need for blood doesn't take a summer break.
When blood donations are low, this can lead to blood shortages, which affect our ability to support cancer patients in their treatment. It affects our ability to respond to medical emergencies and chronic blood conditions.
If blood isn't readily available, it can also lead to postponement of elective surgeries. Taylor says low donations are especially concerning for the approximately 100,000 Americans who suffer from sickle cell disease.
There is no widely available cure, and they often rely on regular blood transfusions to manage their pain and prevent life-threatening complications.
While donors of all blood types are needed, the Red Cross is especially in need of type O, which is always in high demand. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If you're interested in giving blood, you can schedule an appointment with the Red Cross online.
Or you can go through the American Red Cross donor app. Even if you're traveling this summer, you can type in your zip code wherever you are and find a nearby blood drive. A new road project is underway in North Huntsville, how it impacts local traffic.
Also an update on the collapse of that section of I-95 in Philadelphia, why the interstate is open earlier than expected.
I'm WAAY 31 anchor Nicole Williams. Ready to drink cocktails could be coming to your local grocery store. A look at a new task force. The governor wants to explore the matter and why. Tonight at 6.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
Preparations are now underway for a new overpass project in Huntsville. The multi-year project, again, is set to add an overpass and service roads at Maston Lake Road, extending the North Memorial Parkway Expressway to south of Winchester Road. Crews placed temporary barriers today as they prepare for construction. Drivers, you are advised to expect delays and drive with caution, especially in that area. Authorities arrested a man in South Alabama following a deadly crash that killed 3 people. David Colburn is charged with 3 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of driving under the influence. That's according to local jail records in Mobile. His bond is set at $160,000, $50,000 each for manslaughter and $10,000 for the DUI.
Relief could soon be in store for drivers who've had their travel on one of America's busiest highways disrupted. A section of Interstate 95 in Philadelphia that collapsed after a deadly gas tanker crash and fire is now expected to reopen as soon as this weekend. It was initially feared these repairs would take months, but the governor praised local workers for pushing the repair timeline well ahead of schedule.
This is what it looks like when the ingenuity of Delco meets the grit of Philly, and we work together to get it done.
There was urgency to fix the roadway, not only because of the inconvenience to commuters, but also given the risk of supply chain issues with truckers forced to take long detours. The governor says these temporary lanes could open Saturday or Sunday, depending on the weather. California has been dethroned as America's most expensive state for gasoline. The new title now goes to Washington, where the average cost, according to WAAY, is now $4.93 a gallon, a 32-cent increase over the past month and 7 cents ahead of California. Mississippi has the cheapest gas with an average of $3 a gallon. The national average for gas is down overall compared to last year, when WAAY says Americans were paying nearly $1.50 less.
A strong explosion hit part of a building in Paris today, leaving at least 16 people injured. Officials say the blast and fire was caused by a gas leak. You can see police and soldiers there filled the area, blocking off the street as firefighters took care of the fire.
Dangerous record heat is impacting millions of Americans across Texas and surrounding states. Now, this type of heat isn't new to Texas or Oklahoma at all, but it is showing up earlier. Families trying to cool down are creating a huge demand on the Lone Star State's electric grid. Utility companies are asking residents to voluntarily reduce energy consumption. In Houston, officials say more than 100 heat-related emergency calls have been received since the weekend. The CDC reminds those coping with the heat to drink plenty of water, limit your outdoor activities, and wear loose-fitting clothes.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 Triple Doppler.
We certainly felt the heat a couple weeks ago. This week, we're getting a little bit breaks.
Not so much, yeah. I mean, it was like in the 70s until mid-morning, it seems like, today, with the rain and everything.
60s right now in parts of Sand Mountain. It's crazy how cool it is for this time of the year. We're kind of seeing temperatures closer to our normal lows for this time of the year rather than the typical highs for day one of summer. But that's what Mother Nature is sending us today. A lot of rain keeping us on the cool side. Here are estimated rainfall totals in northeast Alabama over the past 24 hours. A couple spots hitting the rain jackpot over the past day or so. Northern Marshall County and southern Madison County, healthy swath of 1 to 2 inches of rain in those locations. Parts of DeKalb County seeing similar totals as well. And the broader picture showing while not as much rain farther west, most of the Tennessee Valley has at least picked up some rain over the past day or so, going back to yesterday afternoon and certainly continuing at this point as well. 31 Triple Doppler continuing to show plenty of rain in that corridor of heavy rain totals that I showed you earlier. Southern Madison County, northern Marshall, much of Morgan County as well. We also have plenty of rain in Jackson County. DeKalb County has been steady, but it's on the light side at this moment, and we'll likely see a dissipating trend to some extent over the next hour or two. Around Morgan County, much of the county seeing rain at this moment. Heavy downpour developing in northern parts of Coleman County and then stretching farther to the north and west around the Shoals. You have some rain, it's just on the light side and has not been quite as soggy in this part of the state as our neighbors farther to the east. With all the rain, it is currently in the 70s in many spots. As I mentioned, 60s in parts of Sand Mountain. Fort Payne checking in at 69 right now. It's 70 in Gunnersville. Meanwhile, 80 degrees in Athens at this moment. Generally speaking, we can expect temperatures to stay put around the 70s in most spots this evening. If you do get some steadier rain, that will cool you down quicker, but either way, cooler than normal. Temperatures expected as we head into this evening. Future radar keeps these scattered showers around this evening, and overnight tonight we will continue to see developing showers primarily near and north of the Alabama-Tennessee state line. By tomorrow morning, we may wake up to some wet weather across the Tennessee Valley, especially for those of you north of the river. As we head into the afternoon on Thursday, we are not anticipating as widespread of rain as we've seen today or yesterday, but still a handful of showers and brief thunderstorms will be possible tomorrow afternoon and early evening. Once we get past tomorrow evening, it looks like we are settling into a much quieter pattern beginning on the day on Friday with a good amount of sunshine, an occasional shower or two possible in the afternoon. But if you have outdoor plans on Friday, you will likely be in good shape, and that's going to lead to warmer temperatures. So the reason for the wrapping up of the rainfall threat is low pressure that's been keeping the threat around daily over the past several days will clear to the north by the weekend. We're going to keep an eye on another threat for some stormy weather around Sunday night into Monday of next week, but that's going to be kind of a short-lived threat. We'll see that clear out as we head into the middle of next week, and the heat should really build after that. Some of that high heat we've seen in Texas is going to try to nudge a little bit farther to the east, closer to us. We're not going to see triple-digit heat here in Alabama necessarily, but we will see highs likely in the low 90s, not only this weekend, but much of next week as well, with drier weather settling in around that time. So, yeah, not great pool weather today at all, but we will have plenty more days to hop in the water in the future.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Looking forward to those days. Juneteenth celebrations continue past the holiday on Redstone Arsenal. What they're doing to make it a learning experience.
Team Redstone's Juneteenth celebration took place on the Arsenal for the first time since the pandemic. Today's keynote speaker was local historian William Hampton. Those in attendance enjoyed live music and an explanation about the historical significance of Juneteenth.
Emotionally, it went far beyond my expectations. I knew we would have a wonderful event, but it was definitely a great event, very powerful and moving, and it was just good to see all the team members from all over Redstone come together to celebrate Juneteenth.
Event coordinator LaDonna McCann said it's important for people to learn about Juneteenth because it teaches all of the history and helps inform everyone, encouraging what she calls an earnest celebration.
More celebrations are happening this weekend with the Helen Keller Festival in Tuscumbia, full of arts and crafts and live music. Set to start tomorrow, last until Sunday. And make sure you bring a lawn chair so you can sit back and enjoy these events.
A Tennessee lottery player in Franklin County won $1 million in Monday night's Powerball drawing. The lucky ticket sold at Tim's Market in Delhi, and it's the 375th Tennessee lottery ticket sold worth $1 million or more. Tonight's drawing is estimated to be at a whopping $400 million.
All right, let's all make a trip to Tennessee real quick. And
grab the umbrellas, though, before you head out.
Yeah, not exactly winners in the weather department.
Yeah, not so much for day one of summer, but we do have sunnier days ahead in the 10-day forecast. First, let's get a quick look at 31 triple Doppler. Showers beginning to weaken to some extent, becoming a little less widespread, but still plenty of wet weather to contest with if you do have plans to run some errands over the next few hours. 40% chance at showers and a few storms during the day on Thursday. After that, we start to dry out. Just spotty showers on Friday. Most, if not all, of the weekend will be dry. And that's when we heat up with highs back to the low 90s on Saturday and Sunday. It looks like it's going to be good to go for Hydrofest as well as the Helen Keller Festival this weekend.
Excellent. WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on. Local news, breaking news, and severe weather.
Watch WAAY 31 on all of our streaming platforms and download the only weather app with 3 live Doppler radars. World News Tonight with David Muir starts in just a few minutes right here on WAAY 31.
We'll see you back here for WAAY 31 News at 6.